Most traders don't quit because trading doesn't work. They quit because of when trading starts to work. That sounds backwards, but if you've been around this long enough, you know it's true. People imagine quitting happens after a big blow up or a catastrophic loss. Sometimes it does, but more often, quitting happens during a quieter moment, a confusing moment, a frustrating stretch where nothing dramatic is happening, but nothing feels good either. The excitement is gone, the hope is thinner, the wins don't feel rewarding, and the losses feel heavier than they should. That's the moment most people walk away. Not because they failed, but because they were closer than they realized and didn't know how to recognize it. If you've ever thought about quitting trading or taking a long break because you felt stuck, hit the like button. It's a small way of admitting this topic actually matters to you. Most people enter trading with the wrong expectation. They think progress will feel like confidence building, like clarity, like momentum, like things finally clicking. They imagine a straight line upward, or at least a sense that they're getting warmer. That's not how it works. Progress in trading usually feels like confusion before clarity, frustration before calm, doubt before discipline, and boredom before consistency. And that emotional sequence is exactly why most traders quit too early. I want to tell you about someone I knew early on. He was disciplined, smart, patient by nature, not impulsive. He did everything people say you're supposed to do. He studied, he journaled, he followed risk rules. And for a long time, nothing really happened. No blowups, no huge wins, just small losses, small wins, and a lot of flat periods. One day he told me something I still remember. He said, "I don't feel like I'm losing anymore, but I also don't feel like I'm winning. I feel stuck in the middle, and that middle is killing my motivation." A few weeks later, he quit. What he didn't realize was that middle phase is the bridge. It's the gap between emotional trading and mechanical trading, between chaos and structure, between gambling and process. He didn't quit because trading didn't work. He quit because it stopped feeding his emotions and hadn't yet rewarded his discipline. That phase is where most traders disappear. Early trading feels exciting, even when you're losing. There's novelty, adrenaline, hope. Every trade feels important. Every setup feels meaningful. You feel like you're learning something every day. Then something shifts. You stop chasing random trades, you reduce frequency, you tighten rules, you cut impulsive behavior, and suddenly, trading feels quieter, less stimulating, less dramatic. That quiet scares people. They think something is wrong. They think they're falling behind. They think they're losing their edge. In reality, they're losing noise, and noise is addictive. The market doesn't tell you when you're transitioning from bad habits to good ones. There's no notification that says, "Congratulations, you're becoming consistent." There's just a long stretch where emotions flatten and results lag behind behavior changes. That delay is where most traders quit. Another reason people quit too early is because they mistake effort for progress. They think if they're working hard, studying more, watching more videos, they must be getting closer. When that effort doesn't translate into immediate results, they assume trading is broken. But trading doesn't reward effort, it rewards restraint. There's a point where learning more actually slows you down, where adding more information makes decisions harder, not easier, where every new concept gives you another reason to hesitate. I knew a trader who consumed trading content constantly: podcasts on the way to work, videos at lunch, charts all evening. He felt productive all the time. But when it came to execution, he froze. Too many voices, too many perspectives, too many what ifs. Eventually, he said something honest. He said, "I think I'm hiding and learning because it feels safer than trading." That self-awareness came right before he quit. Most traders don't quit because they hate trading. They quit because trading forces them to confront themselves, their impatience, their need for control, their need for validation, their discomfort with uncertainty. And that confrontation is exhausting. Trading removes external excuses. There's no boss, no schedule, no one to blame. When things go wrong, it's just you and your decisions. For a lot of people, that level of responsibility is heavier than they expected. If this is resonating, comment "still here," not to prove anything to anyone else, just to acknowledge that you're listening to something you might not hear in most trading videos. Another reason traders quit right before it works is because their identity hasn't caught up to their behavior yet. At first, people see themselves as learners, beginners, explorers. That identity feels comfortable. There's no pressure to perform. Then they start behaving more like traders. They reduce risk, they follow rules, they become more consistent. But internally, they still expect beginner level excitement, beginner level feedback, beginner level encouragement. When that disappears, they feel lost. They're no longer beginners, but they don't yet feel like professionals. They're in between, and that in between space feels uncomfortable because there's no applause there. No one tells you you're doing well when you're quietly managing risk and not overtrading. No one celebrates discipline. No one notices consistency until it compounds. That silence pushes people away. Before we go further, if you know someone who's been trading for a while and feels burned out or stuck, share this video with them. Do it because sometimes hearing the right explanation at the right time keeps someone from quitting too early. Burnout is one of the most misunderstood experiences in trading. People think burnout means you traded too much or lost too much money. Sometimes that's true, but more often, burnout comes from fighting yourself for too long. It comes from trying to be disciplined while still craving excitement. It comes from wanting consistency while still needing validation. It comes from knowing what you should do, but constantly negotiating with yourself when it's time to actually do it. That internal conflict is exhausting. Most traders don't burn out because the market is too hard. They burn out because they're stuck between two identities: the gambler they're trying to leave behind, and the disciplined trader they haven't fully become yet. That in between phase is brutal. I want to tell you a story that almost every trader will recognize in some form. There was a trader I knew who had finally stopped overtrading. He reduced his setups. He followed his rules. His equity curve flattened out. No more big losses, no more blowups. On paper, he was improving. Emotionally, he was miserable. He told me he felt numb. Trading didn't excite him anymore. It didn't scare him either. It just felt like work. And not even interesting work. Just waiting, executing, and closing the platform. He asked me if that meant trading wasn't for him. What he didn't realize was that this numbness was the withdrawal phase. He was detoxing from chaos. His nervous system was recalibrating. And instead of recognizing that as progress, he interpreted it as a warning sign. A month later, he went back to aggressive trading. More setups, more frequency, more emotion. It felt good again. 2 months later, his account was gone. Burnout often shows up right after you stop self-sabotaging. When you remove impulsive behavior, your brain loses its dopamine supply. No rush, no drama, no spikes. That absence feels uncomfortable. Your mind labels it as boredom or loss of motivation. But it's actually stability trying to settle in. Most people can't sit through that phase. Another reason frustration peaks right before progress is because results lag behind behavior. This is critical to understand. When you change how you trade, your results don't change immediately. There's a delay. You might execute perfectly for weeks and still not see improvement. You might even see worse results temporarily. That gap breaks people. They say, I'm doing everything right and nothing is working. But what's really happening is that your old habits are no longer sabotaging you, and your new habits haven't had enough time to compound yet. That delay is where belief gets tested. I knew a trader who finally locked down his risk management. Fixed position size, hard stops, daily loss limits. His drawdowns shrank immediately, but his profits didn't increase yet. He felt disappointed. He expected relief. Instead, he felt restrained. He told me it felt like trading became smaller. That's because it did, and that shrinking is necessary before expansion. You can't scale chaos, you can only scale structure. Most traders quit during the shrinking phase because it feels like regression. In reality, it's compression before growth. Another major reason traders quit too early is emotional fatigue from constant self-evaluation. Trading forces you to look at yourself every day. Your discipline, your patience, your impulse control, your consistency. That level of self-awareness is draining, especially when progress is slow. In most jobs, you can hide. You can blame the system, you can blame coworkers, you can blame management. In trading, the mirror is always on. That wears people down. I once asked a trader why he quit after years of effort. He said something that stuck with me. He said, I got tired of feeling like the problem. That honesty is rare. The truth is, trading will always make you feel like the problem because you are the variable. And until you accept that without judgment, trading will feel heavy. The 5% don't avoid this feeling. They make peace with it. They stop taking mistakes personally. They stop tying self-worth to execution. They treat errors like data, not character flaws. That emotional separation is what allows them to continue when others quit. If you've ever felt mentally exhausted even when you weren't trading much, that's a sign you're still emotionally attached to outcomes. That attachment drains energy faster than losses ever could. Pause for a second and like the video if this part feels uncomfortably accurate. That reaction means something inside you recognizes the pattern. Another quitting point happens when traders stop feeling special. Early on, trading feels unique. You're learning something others don't. You're part of a small group. You feel ahead. Then reality sets in. You realize trading isn't about cleverness. It's about repetition. You're not special. You're a participant in a probabilistic system. That ego hit causes people to disengage. They wanted trading to validate them, to prove something. When it doesn't, motivation collapses. The 5% detach from that need early. They don't trade to feel exceptional. They trade to execute well. The satisfaction comes from following rules, not outperforming others. There's also the issue of time distortion. People underestimate how long trading actually takes to click. Not months, years. And not because it's complicated, but because behavior change is slow. Most traders quit because they thought they'd be further along by now. They look back and say, I should be better after all this time. That expectation creates shame. Shame leads to avoidance. Avoidance leads to quitting. Progress in trading is rarely visible day to day. It's visible in hindsight, when you zoom out, when you realize your worst days aren't as bad, your mistakes aren't as frequent, your reactions aren't as extreme, but in the moment it feels like nothing is happening. That's the trap. Before we move on, if you've made it this far, subscribe. This channel is about staying grounded when most people spiral. There is a difference between stepping back and quitting. Most traders don't know the difference. They feel tired, frustrated, or flat, and they assume the answer is to walk away completely. In reality, the people who eventually succeed are the ones who learn how to pause without abandoning everything they've built. Quitting is emotional. Stepping back is intentional. Quitting usually sounds like this: I'm done. This isn't for me. I've wasted enough time. I'll come back when I'm ready. And most people never come back. Stepping back sounds different. I'm going to reduce risk. I'm going to trade less. I'm going to simplify. I'm going to focus on execution instead of results. I'm going to protect what I've already learned. The 5% don't push through burnout by forcing themselves harder. They pull back strategically. They make trading smaller, not bigger. I want to tell you one last story. There was a trader who came close to quitting multiple times. Every time he felt overwhelmed, he didn't add anything. He removed something. Fewer trades, fewer markets, smaller size, less screen time. Each time, trading got quieter, and each time, he stayed. Years later, when asked what saved him, he said something simple. I never quit. I just kept reducing until it was manageable. That's the mindset shift most people never make. Most traders think the solution to struggle is improvement. Better strategy, more knowledge, more effort. Sometimes the solution is reduction, less stimulation, less pressure, less expectation. Another key difference between quitters and survivors is how they interpret doubt. Quitters see doubt as proof they're not cut out for this. Survivors see doubt as part of the process. They don't try to eliminate it. They trade alongside it. Confidence in trading doesn't mean you feel sure. It means you know what to do, even when you don't feel sure. That's professional behavior. Another thing the 5% understand is that motivation is unreliable. They don't wait to feel motivated. They build routines that function regardless of mood. Same time, same process, same rules. Trading becomes something they do, not something they feel. Most people wait for clarity before acting. Profitable traders act according to clarity they already defined in advance. There's also an important truth people don't like hearing. Some people quit not because trading is too hard, but because trading stripped away their illusions. They wanted trading to change their life quickly. They wanted proof they were exceptional. They wanted freedom without structure. When reality shows up instead, they disengage. There is no shame in walking away if trading no longer aligns with who you want to be. But many people quit when they're simply uncomfortable, not incapable. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to slow down and simplify. If you're watching this and wondering whether you're at a real breaking point or just in a difficult phase, ask yourself this. Am I breaking rules and spiraling, or am I executing well but frustrated with the pace? If it's the first, step back. Reduce risk, protect yourself. If it's the second, you're closer than you think. Most traders quit right before things start working because working doesn't look how they imagined. It looks quieter, slower, less exciting, less emotional, more repetitive. It looks like professionalism. Before we wrap this up, if this video helped you see your own journey more clearly, share it with someone who's struggling silently. A lot of traders don't need motivation, they need perspective. And if you want more content like this that focuses on staying grounded when most people quit, subscribe. This channel isn't about hype, it's about longevity. I'll leave you with this. Trading doesn't break people. Expectations do. The ones who make it are not the ones who never struggled. They're the ones who learned how to struggle without walking away. If you're still here, that says something, and that might be the only sign you need.